Other people are not interesting. Is that really what you're thinking? Is that the reason why you're not talking with people? Is it the reason why you're introverted, shy, why you feel social anxiety whenever you go to a social place? Is that the reason why you have to drink so much alcohol to be able to connect with people with whom you share absolutely nothing? Maybe you believe that you are a completely different type of person, that you have different interests, and that those interests doesn't enable you to connect with everyone. Maybe just with a select few people who can understand your interests and your passion. And it makes sense because when you're so passionate about something, when you're so into something specific, yes, it's hard to find people who can understand who you are, what's your interests, what's your values. It's hard to connect. And how do you explain how you feel in your body when you meet people? How do you explain that there is so much resistance, so much intensity in how you feel? I mean, come on, if you could remove this sensation, wouldn't life be a lot more easier? If you could just throw yourself in front of people you don't know and instantly be able to connect with them, what would you do differently? Would you go to these people and talk? Would you not do it because you would think that they're not interesting? Would you take a shot? Would you try to connect? Would you try to find if there is something interesting inside them? The problem when you are shy, introverted, when you have social anxiety, is that your lenses, your glasses, how you interpret the world and people around, those are tainted by how you feel in your body. In other words, you are motivated to believe that other people are uninteresting and that it's their problem but not yours. It's not your fault, it's your brain that's wired this way. It's just how it works. It's a mechanism that's running automatically in your brain in order to protect your identity. So it's a lot easier to believe that the reason why you don't talk with people is because they're not interesting. Because if you do that, then it means that the problem is with other people, the world is not as you want to be, and so you prefer not to participate. And it's perfectly reasonable. It is. It's perfectly reasonable. And then if you want to connect or if you find yourself in a situation where you feel this intense pressure, what do? You drink alcohol. Why do you drink alcohol? Because it makes it easier. Because you're like, if I were to be in this situation, I might as well do what I can to do it the best I can. And so you drink so that you make the connection with other people easier. Is that a good idea? Well, in the moment, of course it is. Of course, I mean, what would you do differently? If you drink, you are able to connect, you have a great moment, you maybe even help other people to have a great moment with you. And if you don't drink, maybe it will be awkward for you, potentially for other people also, because you will be this person who don't say anything in this social event. So you drink, and then you become talkative, and then you connect about very stupid things that you don't care usually, but suddenly, when you're drunk, everything is interesting. It's how it works. So you do it again and again, because it works. Why would you stop doing something that works? A few years later, you wonder if you're alcoholic. Well, technically, you're not really alcoholic because you don't drink every day, right? Alcoholic is every day, and it's not your case, so you're not alcoholic. Well, it depends on how you measure and what are the arguments that make you think you're alcoholic or not. Rule of thumb, what is the cause of the common denominator of the moments in life where you feel shame and that you regret? If the common denominator between all the things that you regret having done in life is alcohol, well, I'm not gonna say that you're alcoholic, but it just means that maybe alcohol is a problem. So what you did was you had a problem. You had this shyness, this introversion, this social anxiety. And you found something that seems to work, alcohol. And it worked. It made the fear and the discomfort go away. But the cost that you have to pay, shame, the things that you regret, and there is an hidden cost also. All these years you used alcohol to connect with people. You didn't progress 1 centimeter. Didn't make any progress. Chances are your social anxiety even become worse because you never tried to overcome it, which leaves you in a bad situation. Maybe a situation that leads you to watch this video, this trap that I told you about. Having social anxiety, thinking that people are uninteresting, drinking alcohol to make connections is a trap that I felt into when I was younger. And it was hard, it was tough. It was by far the worst moments in my life. Even if I had other hard moments, this was the hardest because of the disconnection that I felt with people, feeling different and feeling that there were no hope, impossible to overcome something like that, right? Well, not really. And that's where the good news are finally coming, because hey, we are sitting here and we are talking about crazy bad stuff, and finally it's time to go towards the bright side. It's possible to overcome shyness, to overcome social anxiety, to overcome introversion. And I say overcoming introversion because the label introverted can be extremely damaging. You made research, right? Why are you like this? Why are you shy? And you might have discovered that some people, it's their personality, they're just like this. But if you believe that psychology and science says that some people are like this, then there is really nothing you can do. It's science. Science. But there are so many misconceptions in this. Those identities are a trap. You can go out of them. You can retrain yourself. You can shape your personality. But if you believe you can't, there is absolutely no chance of doing it. And the most important thing is to believe you can. And to believe you can, you only need to know that there is one person who did it. In my case, I remember back in the days, I was reading a book about a sociologist, a French sociologist. Unfortunately, I don't remember the name. But what I read in this book was that this guy used to be extremely shy, used to have a lot of social anxiety when he was younger. And then at the end of your life, he was the most talkative and the most sociable person you can find, just talking with everyone, talking with people in the street. And that's all I need to know. I didn't know how he did it. I didn't know what he did. But I just knew that someone did it. And if someone did it, I knew I can do it. In your situation, the only thing I can do is to tell you that I did it. Not just me, but I also teach people. I also wrote a book about it. So it's not an uncommon occurrence of someone who is socially anxious, who's very shy, who has an extreme and debilitating social anxiety. To tell you, I used to avoid my neighbors when I wanted to get groceries. If I heard a noise in the corridor, I would wait until I knew I wouldn't meet my neighbor because I was scared to meet her. I was a 70 years old lady, but I was scared that I wouldn't know what to say. That's where I'm coming from. And it was tough, and I had all these protections that I created, those stories that kept me stuck. The story that kept me stuck was one, I'm just introverted, that's my personality. And there's no way I can change that. Was completely wrong. Today my personality is completely different, a lot more extroverted. But the beauty is that when you read about personality, you see that some people, they will describe introversion, extroversion, and then they will give you advantage for both. The introvert has an advantage because it's better to focus alone and to do some work, while the extrovert has advantage because they can connect with everyone and get energy out of it. Complete bullshit. I can do both. I can work alone and concentrate for hours and focus and think of myself, and I can connect with everyone in all situations, and both of these things give me energy. What doesn't give me energy is pretending to be someone I'm not, or working on things that I'm not interested. And you, what if you also had both talents, both ways of working, but you just never developed the other one? Because of the feeling that you have in your body, But not just the feeling, also because the strategy that you used in the past didn't work. And because you didn't know it was possible. You didn't know you can do it. And in fact, the only reason that you never started the process was because you didn't know it was possible. So again, I'm telling you, you can overcome shyness, social anxiety, and introversion completely, fully. Be able to talk with everyone, everywhere. Not saying that all the interactions that you will have will be extra positive and that everyone will love you. That's not the goal, but most of the time it will work. You can do it. You can start the journey right now. If you want to know more on how to do it, on what to do, well, of course, I'm going to tell you that I read a book and that you can find it in the description and that you can buy it if you want. But you can also simply subscribe to this channel, leave a comment, like the video to show me that this is useful for people like you, so that I know what I'm doing is worthwhile and help people, because I know how hard it is to have no possibilities, to be blocked by everything, to feel paralyzed whenever in a situation to talk with people or in front of people. I know how it feels, and I would like to end it for you, also for everyone else, because this isn't a problem that have to be faced by so many people. We need to find a way to end this problem for all, for everyone, for people who are already here, for people who are not born yet. And if you want to help me doing that, subscribe to this channel, share those videos with people that you feel need them. Bye.